I saw the store. That's why my wife called 911, because she was threatening me.
Neighbors say a multi-year dispute with a squatter in a midtown Tulsa home came to a violent end last night.
The man you just heard from lives just east of Gathering Place, where Tulsa police officers opened fire on a woman they say pointed a gun at them.
Now, we brought you live updates from the scene as breaking news on Fox 23 News at 9 and 10 last night in the early hours of this investigation.
Tonight, Fox 23's Rick Marinon is live back out at the house near 28th and Cincinnati after talking with neighbors about why they called 911 in the first place. Rick?
Ladies, look at this house. It doesn't even look condemned, and only recently did the city actually put up these notices on the window, and that's why so many people were surprised to find out there was so much drama at this house. But I can tell you, this house is in very bad shape. The city has been out here all day. In fact, they're in the back boarding things up still. When they opened these doors, there was a wafting smell of mold and feces that stayed in the air, and that's when you began to figure out just how bad things really were behind these closed doors. A quiet summer's afternoon in one of the safest parts of Tulsa, interrupted by gunfire.
Firecracker?
Neighbors living east of the Gathering Place saw what was nearly a 3-hour standoff take a violent turn.
And while cursing and threatening, she was continuously banging on the wood rail so often and with such force that it bent the sword in a horseshoe shape. So you got to take that seriously.
Neighbor Daniel Anderson says it was a sudden end to a nasty dispute that's been going on for more than 5 years.
Because this was a daily thing. This was not an isolated or an occasional incident. This was a daily occurrence.
Anderson says his neighbor next door is a squatter. For years, she has sued all of her neighbors and openly blamed everyone, from the Catholic Church to the oil and gas industry, for her problems. Tuesday, in more frustration, after being ordered once again to vacate the house, the woman pulled out a sword and began making threats to kill her neighbors.
I saw the store. That's why my wife called 911, because she was threatening me.
Police would eventually come, but the woman would trade her sword for a gun, and after waving it towards officers, it would be a move that would nearly cost her her life. The entire incident played out back here on the patio. We're talking about the incident with the sword, which turned into the incident with the gun, which turned into the shooting, which happens to just be feet away from the Gathering Place, which starts about a few feet away where that light pole is.
My son-in-law was here helping us build a new fence, and so he had heard her out back here screaming and yelling early in the day, and then I guess she came out several times and she was kind of losing it.
Kim McNeil lives 2 doors down and just moved to the Maple Ridge neighborhood last year. He says one of the first things his neighbors told him was not to engage the woman, saying he too could be putting his life at risk. Police requested he and his son evacuate their home Tuesday, but as they were leaving to avoid being caught in possible crossfire, the shots rang out.
Because he was going to get something, I can't remember what it was, and gunshot went off. Wow. So we closed the door really fast and came back in.
The neighbors have identified the woman who was squatting inside this home, and we have also been able to match that name with court records and other legal documents, but we are holding off on identifying her until Tulsa police actually say this is the person we shot. We want to be sure that we name the right person when that time comes. At this hour, we just recently checked with Tulsa police. The woman is in critical condition still at a local hospital. Live covering News That Matters, I'm Rick Marinon, Fox 23 News.